You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey everyone, this is Walter from iWalter. I'm doing a show on Friday night. I didn't think I was. It's actually going on 7 o'clock right now. And it is March 11th, 2016. Now, one of the reasons am doing a show tonight, just to let you know, let me just check my levels. I thought I didn't change them, but they look awfully low. No, they're about the same. It looks like I'll probably be going back to work on Monday. So these shows, which I appreciate the people that do listen to them, I really thank them for listening, because for some reason I think it was on Tuesday, I got 86 hits. Now, they didn't all show up on my stats. I don't know why, but I found out otherwise. They were actually from YouTube. So, well, they didn't show up right away, I should say. Yeah, it was actually on March 8th, which I believe was Tuesday. I got 86 people that were listed and on demand. I've never had that many hits ever, and now they're back to where they generally are, which was 14 one day, the day after that really big hit, 12, and then yesterday I got 9 hits. So I wish I could get other people to listen. It's generally all guys that are listening to it, but hey, I'll take what I can get. I don't mind. But yeah, I was kind of shocked. I unfortunately lost now the people from the West Coast. I used to have a lot of listeners from the West Coast. Now I really don't have any. But again, they were mostly, I just shut it down, but they were all actually mostly from YouTube. So maybe it was from my one friend asked me, my friend Maddie, he said, you think it was on that story I did last week on I don't know if it was Tuesday. That's the only problem. Because I'm looking right now with that. Actually, yeah, I guess he's right. Actually, the show of Milo got 102 hits. Now it's saying. On that show alone, it got 102 hits. So I guess just talking about Milo really did the trick. So I appreciate, Matt, when you listen to this, thank you so much. You got to give me more information. Sorry, I'm saying the odds again. I'm too excited. Matt, you got to give me exciting stories because you know what is hot and what's not. So, Matt, thank you so much for that tidbit, because I'll text you after. Well, you're not going to get this until after the show goes up, so I'll text you and you're going to hear this. Oh, I'm going to text you. You already did, you idiot. That's what you're going to tell me. I'm joking with you, Matt. But yeah, thank you so much. You really gave me a boost on my my ratings for at least that little bit. So yeah, I wanted to mention that real quick. I got some other news. I hate to say it. I was talking about all these murders and stuff the last 2 days in Philly. Well, now I guess they felt left out because there was 6 people. Well, let's see. There was 5 people that got murdered last night in Wilkesboro. And that's pretty weird. Now, it was actually a total of 8 people involved that got hurt, but 5 are dead and 3 are in serious condition. Now, I found so many different sources, I don't know which one to pick. So you got like 11 people in Philly, and half of that now, half again more, you got all these people from Wilkesboro. Now, in Wilkesboro, I know it's a pretty rough area, but it's about 2-3 hours from my house. It's another 4 hours at least from Philly. So you're talking like the boondocks. Now they're starting to fight. It's gun shooting and whatever. I mean, you can say what you want, but that's pretty scary again in places like that. I thought I mentioned about a couple in Norristown where people got killed as well. I was trying to close something down real quick. I running some tests on my thing. I'm going to really be depressed, folks, because I've been out of work now for 6 months, and I've been enjoying it and making the best of it, really. Now the fun is over. I'm going to go back to work, so I'm letting you know now I'm not going to be too excited because I won't be able to do these shows until wee hours in the morning. But, yeah, there was, like, I think 3 or 4 different sources that were covering the same storyline on these people getting killed, and it sounded like it was from a picnic. It's the one I'm looking at right now is from the Morning Call, and it says, death of fetus ruled homicide, increasing slayings to, I don't know why they use the word fetus, but to 6 at Pennsylvania cookout. Now, this one's kind of weird because they all have it's the same freaking story, but they cover it differently. This one says 2 gunmen working as a team fatally shoot 5 people, including a pregnant woman, and critically wounding 2 others at a backyard cookout. Now, there was another one I read, because like I told you, all these stories are covering something different. The other one said it was actually 3 people injured and 5 people were killed. And amongst the mixture of people, of the people that got killed, I think it was 3 men and 2 women were murdered. And then there was like the last 3 were a mixture of a woman and 2 men, or something like that. Again, I'm so confused at this point because everyone covers it differently, the same storyline. It's like, okay, you guys, you're covering the same source of information, but your stories don't match up. It's kind of weird. So there was that, and my main reason tonight was let people know I'm going back to work and all this other shenanigans. So I'm just still static on getting all those hits. Again, I want to mention that to my friend. I did have this story, and I did kind of look through it quickly before I just went on right now. And this just happened today, too, from the Times Herald. A Collegeville woman now is sentenced for lying in Lower Pottsgrove fatal pedestrian crash. Apparently, a 16-year-old boy got killed. Now, this goes back to 2012, where they said at the time this woman's I forget how they worded it. It was like a one-time boyfriend, they said. This woman, she's 46 years old, and I swear to God, I'm 49. She looks like a lot older than I do. So she's either lying about her age, or if she's 46, she really, really had a hard life, because she looks like she's in her 50s or 60s, and she's 46. But they said her one-time boyfriend, she allowed him to drive her truck, and this guy killed this kid. He ran him over. He killed him. And this was a 16-year-old Timothy Anthony Piccolo, it looks like, Jr., who was crossing East High Street near Sunnyside Avenue in Lower Pottsgrove. So this incident came up that they concluded that this woman was lying about to her insurance company, and some other things, I guess because there was damage, obviously. It was a 2000 Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck. It said it fatally killed it, struck and killed this kid. I guess she was trying to claim for damages on her insurance company, and she got caught for lying on that and a couple other things. This is a really lengthy article. I only read through part of it. But now she's under... See, again, I hate to keep on bringing this up, but there's that old thing about where women are going to get a lighter sentence than a man because she got caught for, like, multiple offenses. And there was a list. There was, like, a long laundry list of things she's going to get charged on. But she's going to get... The whole entire thing is going to be probation. So it's not even, it's like 3 months or 3 years probation or 3 months. I think it's 3 years probation because I got to look through all that stuff again. And then it's like 75 hours worth of community service on top of that. I mean, that's a slap on the wrist, really. She got caught on all these freaking lies, covering up for some guy that she dated one time. But it's not going to bring that kid back either. And she literally is, this is 3 years. No, this is 4 years after the fact. And I'm sorry about that. She's getting a slap on the wrist. So I'm trying to look. Because obviously the parents were like devastated. They lost their son over some idiot. And I always complain about, I said this the other day, I'm talking about the other day again. But I said I'm even afraid to walk out to my mailbox, afraid of getting hit. This kid was walking and got hit by a reckless driver. He got killed. 16-year-old. I mean, the poor kid. His life has been over for years now, but it's horrible. Something I think, again, I'm not finding it now in this article, but I believe she's getting 3 years probation for lying. And again, there was a list of charges they had against her. And for most people, they would serve prison time. They wouldn't serve probation time from the get-go. I mean, none of it's going to be served in prison. It's going to be served as just a slap on the wrist. For and I would consider her an access, or what do you call it? Is that somebody who is not directly responsible for, indirectly responsible for this kid's death? Because, I mean, she allowed somebody else to drive her car with her consent, which he wasn't even insured by, and then lied about killing somebody on top of it. So I'm trying to look. I mean, obviously, I'm looking in this article. It looks like the parents of this child are really, especially the mother, is really upset, because I see somewhere where they quoted her and saying this is no excuse. So, that's the problem now. People, it depends who you are. You're going to get away. I've said this before. Certain people get away with murder. So, yeah, I wish I could find this really quick. The kid was actually, it said Pottsgrove High School student. I guess he might have even been walking home for all you know. And that's another thing that's a problem. These kids walking home or getting off a bus, they got to be worried about being ran over by some idiot anymore. So it's really sad. If I don't find it, it was just posted tonight in the Times Herald. It's his sentencing for this woman. But it's not even a sentence. That's the part I wanted to look up really quick. And I guess the case was put as justice for Timmy, the kid who got killed, with the number 4 for 4. Yeah, I'm so sorry, folks. I thought I had everything. I'm not going to read through this. But I'm pretty sure, again, you can read this whole thing. Okay, so I guess her ex-boyfriend is serving a sentence for 6 to 12 years in prison. She's serving a 3-year probation. So, I'm sorry. I mean, personally, the only way you really to make sure this wouldn't happen again. Hey, that's great. This guy, and I don't even think that's long enough. If he's serving her boyfriend, or the boyfriend she had at the time, is serving a 6 to 12 year sentence in prison, I think that the fact that she allowed him to drive her car or her truck, she should be serving some type of sentence and not just a probation, especially for lying under the whole situation. She lied to, they said, the insurance company, and there was other areas she was, probably in the court before. I don't know, but she was under some situation where she lied about everything. And she got this, now she's just getting a slap on the wrist for lying. I mean, most people, you lie. Is the word perjury or something like that? I mean, falsifying information, lying in a trial, and then lying into your insurance company just to get the damages fixed. Lying about a lot of things just to cover up a murder of somebody, a young kid. So I don't see it again. It was like near the beginning, I thought. So I'm kind of like dragging this out at this point. But again, she's 46 years old, and they said this. Yeah, here we go. It was right in the beginning. It's her listed address they have is West 9th Avenue. Was sentenced in Montgomery County Court on Friday, which would be today, to 3 years probation in connection with the role in a cover-up that followed the 8:55 p.m. November 12th, 2012 crash and claimed the life of a 16-year-old Timothy Anthony Piccolo, it looks like. Anyway, that was like at 9 o'clock, so obviously the kid was not in school coming home, so I apologize about that. But that's no excuse for why this woman's getting away from such a light sentence. So, now, I'm going back to that morning call story. I wish I could find the other one where they actually give a different story on these people who got murdered yesterday. They said it was at a barbecue, but it said steered the victims towards the rear of the porch of this gun shooting. I want to get to the main point, though, of this, where an accomplice armed with a 7.62 millimeter rifle, similar to an AK-47, aren't those like military weapons, shot them from behind a chained link fence less than 10 feet from around the porch of the people who got hurt or murdered. They said they can't find the weapons. And there was, like they said, there were all headshots. These people got shot in the head. So there was 8 people I read in one story. The dead include 3 siblings, Brittany Powell, 27, who lived in the home, Jerry Shelton, 35, and Shanetta Powell, 25, and it says other 2 were Shada Mahone or something, and 26, and Tina Shelton, 37, in a row. No, 37. But honestly, I read one of these stories because I'm back on that real quick. And they actually said that there was about 8 people. There was 8 people that got hurt. So the backyard was about 30 feet by 50 feet. Now they're saying a .40 caliber pistol was also fired, I guess, because they found the shells for that as well. But that AK-47, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, what is going on here? And that's really scary. I have my one friend Ryan. So I hope you guys are all right, because I have my friend Ryan. Friend Ryan, who made that movie called Agony. Dude, you might have some ideas for another film now, but I just hope you're all right, dude, because that is just crazy with this whole thing. But yeah, that was another thing. I mean, there's some really disturbing news all the time. Here's something disturbing, too, I found from heaviermetal.net. Now, this is where they showed the guy smiling for some reason. I don't know why, but he was on one of those roller coasters, and it says disturbed David Draymond gets surgery after Pearson ripped from his lip on a roller coaster. So that's pretty disturbing, too. Yeah, he got his... I don't like those lip piercings and nose piercings and all those piercings. They get nipple ones, vagina ones now, you name it. They get these piercings. Well, this guy, and he's got blood all over his face. I thought it was like he didn't know how to use lipstick, and he was just trying to be sarcastic. Now, that's all blood all over his face because, again, his lip piercing got ripped out of his face on this amusement ride. I don't think I put that on Twitter yet, so I'll put it there as well. But, yeah, there's some crazy stuff out there, folks. I had actually changed stuff. I got dates that I was going to take off during the week in the next couple weeks for different things. Now I'm going to either have to take them as vacation days, and I had to change my ticket now for the opening of Batman versus Superman because, the day it fell. And hey, by the way, this is really cool. I only paid like $3 for it too. I'm looking at it right now. But I got a case cover for my from the Batman versus Superman. But I got the one Batman with Ben Affleck. So I really think, honestly, Ben Affleck's going to steal the movie. That's just my guess. Because I don't really like the actor that much. Nothing personal. But I really don't like the guy who plays Batman that much. Superman. I do like Ben Affleck. I think that's really cool. So I saw this in Best Buy, but they didn't have it for my phone. They didn't have the size for my phone. It was the Batman versus Superman case for your phone. It was like $9 in the store. I think I paid less, though. I have it up on my Facebook page right now. And I think my other links, too. But it was cheaper, And it was, I think, free shipping, too. And I just got to tell you, I just ordered the other day. I did not get it from Best Buy. That's the one thing. I had to get it from online. And I looked around. I found the cheapest price was like $1 or something for the case, like $1.36, and even free shipping. So I bought it on eBay, and it came from China, but I actually got it today. So I think they might have had a local distributor in the U.S., is my guess. And it was like, wow, that was like beyond fast, and it was great, and it looks really sharp. So just wanted to mention that. Yeah, what was I going to tell you? Yeah, there was this story I seen, and this guy looks like he's holding. Oh, yeah, you can definitely tell. Oh, my God, it's disgusting. It's a rat. It's from the Daily UK Mail. The size of this rat is bigger than a dog or a cat. The guy's holding it with a pair of special tongs. But it's a rat, but it's the size of a full-size dog. Not even a cat, but a full-size dog. I don't know how the guy, he's literally holding it with one hand, too. He's got it clenched between this thing that looks like an oversized pair of tongs. It says, reveal how a 4-foot monster rat found by a gas man on London housing estate is from Gamba and highly intelligent. So they're saying this mouse is intelligent, too. It's really scary looking. Gasman was working in Hackney when he spotted the massive rodent. Shocking photo shows the size of the animal. Said to weigh 25 pounds, comes Amit fears that the vermin are growing immune to normal poisons. It says animal could have been a Gambian pouched rat that had been kept as a pet. If you keep something that freaking big as a pet, that's pretty scary. They got one that's actually kind of looks like it's alive. Like this scientist in the background's like, he's in the background. I was going to say foreground. I think that might be correct. Next to this rat that's still alive. I mean, its front legs or whatever look like little like big hands. They look like hands because it's so big. So, yeah, that honestly, folks, that is really scary. Hey, you know what? I have a question for people out there because it's not important, but I didn't realize that, and I love this man. I think he's really cool. But there's these shots of, they're saying The Rock. My dad calls him The Rock, too. What is his name? Dwayne Johnson. I kind of like Dwayne Johnson better. But they're claiming that the man is half black. I mean, it's not important to anybody because he's a really cool actor. I really like him a lot. I think he just seems like he's a down-to-earth man. You know, he seems like if you met the man in person, he's really cool, but they're saying he's half black, and I'm like looking at pictures of him now, and there's no way he even looks remotely black, like not even a little bit of, because usually when you're interracial, I mean, I'm half Italian, half Sicilian, so there's not much of a stretch there. But usually you take either, I guess, one dominant trait from one of your parents on their ethnicity, if it's, Japanese, Chinese, or, I'm trying to think ones that are a little bit more noticeable. Or you take more of a predominant features from your other parent, or you just have a mixture generally of both. But I don't see it with him. I don't see it with Dwayne Johnson. I'm just questioning that since I had that opened up. Now, here's an interesting one, and I'm not going to support this person, but somebody put up about Caitlyn Jenner supports Trump much more, so, especially with the transgender issue going on with her, more so than Hillary Clinton, because it says Caitlyn Jenner, Trump very good for women's issues, Hillary a fucking liar, basically is what it says. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of it. It's from the Huffington Post. So, and by the way, I heard today, and I can't say I'm surprised, but I did hear today that Rush was talking about this. Now, he's still not like really taking either side. Now, I've said this before, I really do like Ted Cruz. Don't get me wrong, I like Ted Cruz. I'm just afraid if you really want to take over the Republicans, if they really want to take over, you might be forced to settle for Trump, just to get, our foot back in the door and then take it from there, progress from there. And the thing is, I guess a lot of people are afraid of with Trump, he's more of a moderate, more so than we would like to think. And that's a little bit more evident. And, that in some ways we might need that just to show that, hey, I hate to say this, we might have to play the same game of just to show like these other people that are liberals and Democrats, and I'm trying to think of other people because there's different mixes that are all on the same side, so to speak, that we got to show them, hey, listen, we're not these bad guys we're made out to be. We got to start somewhere, and this might be the only way, unfortunately, is by trying to get Trump in office. I've said this the whole time. Now, Rush was saying today, and he, even his right-hand man, which it really is Snerdley was actually, he's kind of scratching his head now, because he's like wondering, okay, this is a little weird, but I think Pennsylvania was one of the places. Now I'm gonna mention in a minute Pennsylvania and some other places on other states that are basically always for Democrat. They always vote Democrat. They're Democratic states are now in large groves, or large amount of people are changing from Democrat to Republican, and they are trying to nominate Donald Trump. Now, what this was called, because we did something similar, us Rush Limbaugh listeners, because I was one of them. I didn't have to change. I was already a Republican. Oh, okay. No, I was a Republican. I am a Republican too. But he had suggested that we go out and change our party to, or change so we could vote nominate Hillary as, for president, and that'll, that whole thing to get rid of Obama. And I'm not doing a very good job explaining myself, but it was called Operation Chaos. And it seemed to work for a little bit, but in the very end, unfortunately, it backfired because, I don't think, Hillary did not get to where we wanted her. We wanted her to basically, back when we did this, we wanted to eliminate, I didn't actually do it. I'm putting my name in the mix. I shouldn't. But we were trying to eliminate Obama from actually running for president. Now, I think even Snerdley was thinking, and a lot of Rush's crew were thinking the same thing. They're thinking now, this is a little strange. It's not in small, little isolated areas. It's in large amounts where a lot of these Democratic states, the people that are generally vote for the Democrat Party, are now changing over to Republican just to vote for Trump. Now, you're probably saying, well, why are they doing that? What's their purpose? Well, the purpose is, and Rush then finally admitted that, this could probably be the case. At first, he was on today's show, it was Friday's show, he was denying it. Okay, let me just swing back over here real quick. I got to unlock my computer. First, he was denying it, and then he was pretty much starting to say, well, maybe this is the case. Because it is a little strange, the amount of people now voting for Donald Trump. Well, the reason is because, honestly, they don't want to see Ted Cruz win the GOP. They don't want to see that happen. And then Rush actually did admit, so Matt, if you're listening, you're like to hear this, somebody actually asked, a caller called in today, a listener, on today's show, Friday's show, and the listener actually asked, they said, well, do you think... Now, she's a Trump supporter, the woman who called in. I got to say this, too. She was saying, I'm tired of how Trump is getting attacked. I am, too. I'm going to admit to that. I'm not going to deny it and say, oh, I never said that, because too many people do this stuff. They say one thing, and then when they jump on the bandwagon, they say, oh, I never said that. Well, I'm not going to do that, because I do support Trump just as much as I support Ted Cruz. I didn't think Ted Cruz was going to get this far. And by the way, now Ben Carson's is going to support Donald Trump now too. So, and somebody new is going to be supporting Ted Cruz. I forget who actually, But Rush Limbaugh did say, because the caller called in, she is a big Trump supporter. Let me say this right now. But she said, well, if for some reason Ted Cruz would get in, I'm a little afraid that, not that I really like Ted Cruz. My fear is, because he is a Tea Party member, he could make a lot of changes. It's just, is he going to cause too much backlash on the Democrats trying to shoot down anything he tries to eliminate? I mean, I maybe he would be able to. I know he could stand his ground, but I mean, will it be enough to get things fixed? That's the only thing I'm afraid of. So anyway, the caller actually asked, I'm glad she did too, because she's a Trump supporter. She said, well, if Ted Cruz would win, would he be able to fix this or reverse any of this Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, which I said yesterday is, honestly, that was put into place by the Clintons. That was not something that he came up with. Obama, he did not come up with this. He just got his name put on there at the last minute. That is a Clinton thing. That's why I don't want to see the Clintons get in office, because you know it's not going to be eliminated. It's going to still be there. And Rush actually did say, because he's been keeping a moderate sense on this issue, he said that he thinks that Ted Cruz could probably, he could probably definitely make he would do his best to reverse a lot of this Affordable Health Care Act, this Obamacare. He would make a definite effort to try to fix it. Stating in so many words or less that probably Trump would not fix the issue as much as you would get if you got Ted Cruz, which I know a while back, a lot of people didn't think Ted Cruz was going to get this far. I was afraid he wasn't either. Anyhow, he is getting this far now. And that being said, it's kind of surprising, but now the Republicans are very afraid of this. The Republicans were actually trying to get rid of Trump as well, because Trump and Ted Cruz are their biggest fears. But Ted Cruz, I think, is even more of an issue than Donald Trump, because they know with Ted Cruz they're not going to get their way at all. They know at least with Trump they can make some negotiations. Now with Ted Cruz, and this is not a bad thing, don't get me wrong, this is actually a very good thing. Ted Cruz is not going to step down. So I'm just letting you know that. Now here's something I forgot to mention the other day, so I'm going to mention it now today. What was it now? It was a issue. Oh no, not an issue. I'm sorry, because it was mentioned on KYW today. Today was officially Ronald Reagan's wife's funeral. Her funeral? I was going to say viewing, but I guess it's both. Her funeral. So it was mentioned the other day that when her funeral was, which was technically, I think it was today. So he already knew ahead of time. I read in numerous articles that President Obama was not going to attend. So that's just a slap on the face. This shows you how ignorant this man is, how pompous that Obama is. He said he wasn't going to show up. He had other plans, other engagements, so he couldn't go to her funeral. I mean, you're talking the President of the United States. He's just too busy to go to our ex-president's wife's funeral. He's too busy. He can't go. He has prior engagements. He doesn't have time to go. I mean, that's an insult in so many words. I mean, in so many ways. That's a big insult. So that's what I forgot to mention the other day. I don't even know what those stories are. I'm sure they resurfaced again, but they were definitely there after they found that she passed away, that he already made the decision, I'm not going to her funeral. I mean, I think that's horrible, personally. So, I mean, most people should look at that and say, wow, this guy's a real asshole. But they don't see that. Nobody ever sees what's really going on. That's the problem I have. So, again, I had to mention that, too. I had to put this up. This guy, I have to, Rob Dimension, he's one of my friends on Facebook. He has an inflated Godzilla. Looks like, I don't know if it's his backyard. He put it up. It says Tirezilla. Actually, it's made out of tires. He made a Godzilla out of tires. That's really cool. I don't know if it's his, but it looks like it might have been his backyard. So I'm sorry, Rob, for stealing your picture. I just really admired it, so don't take it the wrong way. Hey, by the way, there's this Keith Emerson, not Keith Richards, but Keith Emerson. He's a British musician. He died at age 71, suspected suicide. If you're 71 years old, I mean, why would you kill yourself unless you have some terminal disease that you can't cure? It says British musician Keith Emerson of the 70s progressive rock band Emerson, Lake and Palmer dies in California at the age of 71 in a suspected suicide after a gunshot wound to his head. Well, that would be a little bit of a... How do you know it wasn't homicide, though? You hear a lot about that anymore. It says the keyboardist died in Santa Monica home on Thursday. The band said his death has been reported as a suicide, though the cause of death has not been confirmed. Emerson's girlfriend reportedly found him with a single gunshot wound to his head. I would find that as personally foul play. And I'm going to put this up right now. These are, I'm not even kidding. These are really hot. I'm going to have to read this in a minute. Yeah, she's Hispanic or Mexican. Red Hot Daphne Joy leaves little to the imagination in a revealing string bikini on vacation with her boyfriend, Jason Derulo. So, 29 years old, and she definitely fills out that bathing suit. I mean, I think it's ready to pop off her because it's so slinky. It's red. Something about red is like with a bull with a red flag. It just gets them. It gets you charged. She's got a really hot body too. So that's from the Daily UK Mail. It's now on Walter's webpage as well, Facebook page. Yeah, from Mexico. Wow. I'm going to need that for later tonight, if you get my drift. There's another one, by the way, folks, from the Daily Mail, and it says, now that's resting in peace. Now, this is funny. I mean, there's even a video for this. This is the most unique thing I've seen. This guy's corpse is put in a chair. Young guy, dead Puerto Rican. Man is propped up in a chair holding a cigarette with his eyes open at his own funeral. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just funny. They literally did not give him a casket, but they propped him in a chair and they propped his eyes open too. That's pretty kind of scary too. Fernando de Jesus Derez Beto, 26, was shot dead outside his home in San June, Puerto Rico on March 3rd. Oh, you know what? Did I say? You know that I said that. Let me reread the caption too. So I apologize even about that. Now that's resting in peace. Dead Puerto Rican man is propped in chair, holding a cigarette with his eyes open at his own funeral. Now that's much better. It says his family chose to bid him farewell just as he was in life. It says a funeral home known for unconventional services sat Diaz Beto, is it Beto or Beto? Beto, in a chair dressed in sports gear, you know, that ghetto kind of clothing, with his legs crossed and holding a cigarette. They also decided to keep his eyes open as a surprise to the family. So the first thing that came to mind when I saw this is why I had to put this up real quick in my storyline, is it kind of reminded me of that Weekend at Bernie's. That's what it literally kind of reminds me of. So they took the corpse, they put it in the chair, and he's just like sitting there like he's kind of like trying to be cool, opened his eyes, and they kind of set him off like he's just there like chilling out. I'm not even kidding. So that is the most amusing thing I've ever read. if you want to call it what I do reading, because it's usually really bad. So, hey, some chick that I did meet her in person years ago when I saw David Lynch. I made her a friend. She found something really cool, which I have to admit, it is extremely cool. It's from BillyPen.com. And it's this themed kind of Halloween setup for, I don't know what it is, a store or what. Inside Pine Street's Halloween, Philly's hidden gem of a jewelry store. So it's a jewelry store, but it kind of reminds me when I went to this place in New York City, I think at least twice. And it reminds me just the same kind of theme. It's a jewelry store in Philly, though, of this place I think it's called Jekyll and Hyde's or something like that. Because I know I was trying to get Matt. I was trying to get him to go there one time up to New York for New Year's Eve, because it's a really cool restaurant, the one I went to. And this jewelry shop kind of reminds me of this place I went to in New York City. It's actually right off the one I went to in New York City. This kind of themed horror / Halloween restaurant, though. This is a jewelry store that I saw that this article's in Philly. But the one in New York, though, is right off of Broadway. So, because I actually did go see a Broadway play, and then I went to this restaurant. I think it's called Jekyll and Hyde's or something like that. It's really cool, too. It's just, you're paying for the theme, though. That's the problem. So, and hey, there was another story from the Morning Call I'm looking at right now. This one was actually another one of these horrific stories. Lehigh County coroner identifies a man killed in a Slayton area hazmat incident, but the cause of death remains a mystery. So, oh, good, and it's short, too. I can't even mess this one up. Looks like Michael Reese, 22, was pronounced dead at his home in the 7300 block of East Hillcrest Lane in an accident, that required the hazardous material team to respond. The incident began sometime between 4 p.m. Thursday, but Reese was pronounced dead at 8:17 p.m., even though it was at 4 where they started moving in. An autopsy performed on Friday morning. There is an autopsy that was performed this morning, but the cause of death is pending toxicology test. It says troopers with the state police in Bethlehem Barracks were dispatched, but they did not comment on the investigation itself. So that's pretty weird. I might have actually be done. I'd be great because I only got a 2-day weekend now. I'm not liking this. Oh, here's something interesting. You people are going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Some of the Times Herald says PennDOT has announced that the Southeast Pennsylvania DUI Task Force will be conducting more enforcement for the upcoming St. Patrick's Day holiday. So good for that. Upper Merion. PennDOT has announced that the Southeast Pennsylvania... Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I already mentioned that. I like when they reinstate the same thing over and over again in a story. They title it one thing, and then the title becomes part of the story by actually writing it word for word. So the bottom line is, hey, if you decide to go out drinking on St. Patrick's Day, don't be surprised if you get pulled over in Pennsylvania. Now, here's the interesting one. This was the other one I got about that story I was talking about earlier, folks. Now, this one does say 5 dead, 3 injured in Pennsylvania shooting. This is the one up in Wilkesboro. So, Wilkesboro. I said Wilkesboro. It's Wilkesboro. So it says, yeah, this one, though, this is from the Patch. Which one of them is it? North Allegheny Patch. This is Pennsylvania shooting left 5 people dead and another 3 were injured overnight, police had stated. And it says Franklin Avenue in Wilkesboro, pretty much PA, 1054. So I'm telling you, you're going to find a ton of stories on these people getting killed. The point was, though, it's like one incident after another. Now, here's a really tasty one, so to speak. Now, this was PIX 11, and it was a guy who robbed Girl Scouts. It's the first time this has ever happened. It says in the 98-year history of Girl Scouts of Nassau County, there doesn't appear to have been an incident involving an attempt of theft similar to this case. And again, it states that the man accused of robbing Girl Scouts punching Good Samaritans in the face as well. I hope it's not the kids that got punched in the face. This was in New York. A group of Girl Scouts were selling cookies at Rockville Central train station Wednesday evening when a cash-hungry thief stole their proceeds, according to Nassau County Police. Michael Averly, 34, of Deer Park, of all places, walked up to the Scouts around 5:45 p.m., and he pretended to be interested in buying some cookies at first. Then he spotted the Girl Scouts' silver-colored cash box, nearly $100 in size, and grabbed it, the police had stated. Yeah, Rockville Central. So $100 is not that much money. The guy stole $100 off of Girl Scouts. That's horrible. Yes, there is more to say on that story, but I just thought it was kind of amusing to mention the first part of that. I like this because me and my friend Todd, though, we always like picking on these, making fun of Canadians, people from Canada. So here's one that actually is about Canada. It is from Canada. CBC.ca. CA stands for Canada. This video store, I just had to post it because I thought it was hilarious. Queen's video flagship store closing after 35 years. Queen's in Canada. Closing sales gives you a chance for movie buffs to get their hands on a rare film or a favorite television show. The flagship location is of Queen's Video. The ironic Toronto film rental shop is closing its doors after 35 years in business and will begin selling off its 50,000 titles beginning on Friday. I'll have to ask my friend Matthew. Sorry about that, Matt. Hey, because we like to check out these video stores. We want to take a ride up to Toronto and get some of these movies. Now, I am being totally sarcastic about that. I know Matt would not want to go up to Toronto. For one thing, I hate to tell you, you will need you're going to need a passport now. You can't go over to Canada like we used to without a passport. You need a passport now. So that really kind of sucks. I got to read this story, too. I saw this earlier, folks, and I thought it was really funny. Well, it was actually when I just started my show. I saw this. The internet is going crazy over this angry Splash Mountain lady. This lady's got this look of death, like they were taking a picture of these people going Splash Mountain, on these log fumes. And this lady just gives this look of anger and hatred. It's pretty funny, though. She's got like the most sinister and blank look on her face. I think it's funny. Now, she's the only one who looks that way, too. It was an unhappy face of the happiest place on earth as a woman was riding Splash Mountain at Disney World and delivered a death stare directly to the camera as all the other passengers were full of joy. So obviously she was not in a good mood at that time. I think it's funny. I'm just going to go through, make sure there's no other stories. I probably don't really have that much, honestly, at this point, because I posted like a million times. Oh, here's another one from the Daily UK Mail. It's about this lady who has 8 kids, and she says with this benefit cap they're putting in England, she can't afford to pay for her kids. 8 children, and they can tell they all look different. So she had them from different guys. It says, where is the support to rehouse me and my 8 children? Well, you know what? Whose fault is that you had 8 fucking kids? I'm sorry. It says jobless single mother Maria. Maria Bakken or something from Birmingham caused controversy last year by insisting she needed a bigger home so she could have a bedroom to herself. It's like, well, whose fault is this? A single jobless mother is complaining that she needs a bigger house. She doesn't need a bigger house. She needs to get her tubes tied is what she really needs. And I'm telling you, look at these kids. They look like they're from all different men. Benefits mother of 8 says her £500 a week handout, or her £500 a week handouts aren't enough to pay rent on a 4-bedroom house she demanded from the local council. I mean, this is just what you call totally irresponsible. I don't know. A single mother just keeps on having one child after another, and she has no way of supporting any of them. The mother and her large brood were given bigger council house last week, but despite getting £500 a week in benefits, she failed to keep up with the rent. She's facing eviction. She blames the government benefits cap on her situation, too. It's a real proud woman. She just obviously is not responsible. She has 8 kids, and she just basically is dependent on the government when they can't give her any more. She's now complaining that they're not being, this is not fair or whatever. So, I'm sorry, you just got to love these people who are just, I've said this before. These people come, they start out being irresponsible, and they just become more and more irresponsible, and their demands become more and more unrealistic as well. So, real quick, hey, there's another one I got from the morning call, and it says the contract protest teachers who have been assaulted by students, a provision that had never been in a contract for Allentown teachers. So this was interesting. This was actually up this afternoon. They now incorporate it to these Allentown teachers. They're all females, too. Allentown teachers receive a raise for protection as a part of their contract. After more than 6 months without a contract, Allentown teachers now have a deal that will boost their starting salary to more than, and I think it was like $45,000, which still isn't that much, I don't think. After 6 months, the contract $46,000. Allentown teachers have now a deal to boost their starting salaries to $46,000 and continue to release the union president from teaching and protect teachers who have been assaulted by students. So apparently that's a big deal, I guess. It's teachers getting I'm trying to think of the right word, getting assaulted by students, teachers getting assaulted by students. So now they incorporated it into a contract they finally settled on. They got a raise. I don't know what should they got paid before. But now they're going to get more money, and they're actually getting some type of also protection for the teachers, or incorporated into their contract. Now, that kind of scares me. I don't know how long they've been out, but I'm kind of worried because our contract for my union is coming up in the following month, and I'm actually afraid of the same thing, that I'm going to be going back to work just to be sitting at home again, but this time without a paycheck. Now, right now I'm getting paid. I won't get paid if we go out on strike. We're going to be getting paid like $1 a day just to picket, literally. So I'm hoping that won't happen. Hey, something else on my favorite story that's not complaining, though. Friday the 13th franchise. There's actually a Facebook page for Friday the 13th. There's many of them, actually, I know. But it says general discussion on how would you feel if either was Jason's mask in a new film, and they're showing like a different mask. It's like one of those full. What do you call it? The person who actually, when you play hockey, the guy that's in the net, they have a different hockey mask. It's like a full mask. It's similar to the Jason mask, but it's a full, covers your all the way over your head, and that's what they're showing. Friday the 13th Fanatics view topic: how would you feel if either was mask or mask just something different from the regular big eye hole round mask, but still a hockey mask, as beautiful as it looks, or something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's on the Facebook page of mine. Just taking a quick look. some modifications to the Jason mask is what they're insinuating in this one story. And, yeah, I mean, actually, the goalie, that's what I'm trying to think of. I couldn't think of the right word. The goalie, generally, they do wear kind of, that's what it was anyway. That's a goalie mask that Jason wears. And that was just like a fluke that it actually had taken off. But they're wondering, I guess they're speculating on maybe if they made altercations to the original hockey mask. So, I mean, it would still be a goalie mask. It just would look slightly different. I don't even know what they're going to do. That movie's been up in the air for quite a few years. Not even a few years, but it's been up for a long time. They're going to redo it. It might have been a few years, actually. So, but they're, I guess they got to make some altercations to get the people to watch it. Hey, there was something I did find, another story from Opposing Views, and it was on Target of all things. It says there are some graphic T-shirts that just landed in Target that now put Target in hot water. And get this, they're showing pictures of them. One is okay because they're showing like two different T-shirts, but it's the one that actually caused a lot of problems. One just says Mrs., and the other one says Trophy. And they're female T-shirts. So apparently now Target has gotten in a lot of trouble for selling these T-shirts. I think they may have gotten pulled. It says Target is now under fire after selling a shirt in a woman's section of the store that has the word Trophy printed across it. So, yeah, it was listed on Fox, too. So, apparently people just take everything way too seriously, but that's a little goofy, by the way. But it's true. I'm trying to look at the story to see if it's worth reading. I had this another day, but before I even read that, I'll get a simple one. They are going to raise, it says, if the Democrat government, Jerry Brown, signs off on this legislation, then California will become the first state after Hawaii with the highest age limit on cigarettes, who can buy cigarettes. It says the California lawmaker approve raising smoking age from 18 to 21. So that's going to eventually will hit California now too, probably. I was wondering about this. It says bystander. It was a different story I got from March 10th from Opposing Views again. Bystander films girl being attacked by teens. Yeah, I do remember it. I saw this right after I got off the air yesterday, and it's really kind of scary. I couldn't even watch it. An Ohio teenager is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after being beaten by a group of teens in an attack caught on film by the bystander. It's on their cell phone. A 16-year-old was filmed being attacked by a group of other teens. Cell phone video shows one girl beating the 16-year-old before two other girls joined in. This is the first time in her life, that she was ever been in a fight. Bill Baker, a family friend of the victim, told Fox 6 she had no idea what was going on. So this girl got just randomly attacked by a bunch of other girls. In Ohio, did I say? I think I did. Yeah. So you can see that. It's kind of blurry, and it's probably best that it's that way because it's actually very disturbing, I'm honestly. So here's another story I got. I don't know if a friend sent it to me. I think I found it myself. And this was from yesterday, but it says a man has been arrested in connection with a murder of a woman in Far Rockaway. That was back on January 27th when this incident happened. So they have a mugshot of the guy who is now in custody for the murder of this woman. Last name Long, 29, was taken into custody Thursday. Police responded to a report of shots fired at an apartment building located at 333 Beach 32nd Street just before 1 p.m. that January afternoon. Police found Joan Gravitt, 36, with a gunshot wound to her abdomen. EMS said she was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim's mother says her daughter was engaged to the suspect for the last 5 years. The victim, Barbara Romano, was waiting for a delivery in the lobby but then she was shot in the hand. She was taken to St. John's Epsol University Hospital in stable condition. But the one woman was murdered, and the case came up. They have the suspect basically he's waiting trial at this point. So that was back in January, and the case came up. Yeah, I saw something funny. I mean, if you want to kind of lighten your mood up, there's a Goofy T-shirt that you can buy, and it says Godzilla for President. I think it's pretty funny. 2016 for President. Limited time, not sold in stores, printed in the U.S. Order with friends to get a discount on the shipping. It actually comes in a sweatshirt, T-shirt, a hoodie, you name it. Price is $23 if you get the T-shirt. You get a long T-shirt, that's $28. You can get one of those fitted shirts, that is $23. And the hoodie is $39 for a hoodie. If you want to get wear one of these kind of things that state with a picture of him in the middle, Godzilla for President 2016. Kind of goofy, but it is kind of looks funny too. Trying to look, because I might have read some of these stories yesterday. Because there's one, I'll just read the highlights. PIX 11, a school bus driver needed to use the bathroom. God, I know that too well. I've been doing that a lot lately. I'm on this thing to get rid of your abdominal fat, and you got to take it. You take tastes like, not close to being like, almost it looks like Pepto-Bismol, but it tastes like that, like yogurt you would drink, like a strawberry mix, or not strawberry, mixed berry yogurt. That's what it tastes like. So I'm like taking that, and when I ate tonight, like anytime I eat anything, it just flushes it right out of your fucking system. Sorry about that. But it does. It just flushes your system right out. Like you're draining it right out. Anything that goes in your mouth is going to come out the other end instantly. So I got to be careful because, Matt, if you hear this, you're going to be pissed off if I'm like losing my bowels all the time from this stuff, eating it before a meal. Or you take 1 tablespoonful, and that's more than enough, trust me. So it says, anyway, a school bus driver needed to use the bathroom. So he pulled over and left the bus idling while he ran inside. But he had no idea a child was asleep on the bus, and he has lost his job because of it. Do you think he should have lost his job? Well, I guess maybe. I mean, the kid, you can't help it. The kid fell asleep, but it did happen. Oh, yeah. By the way, I read this, and this is the most ridiculous thing I had read. And this happened right after I was done the show. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something that's funny. The girl Daisy Ridley, she plays, she's built like a 2x4. She's got no breasts. Now, I am saying this for a reason. She plays in Star Wars. She's that British girl who plays the young girl in the new Star Wars Force Awakens. They want her now to play, they're asking for her to play Lara Croft. I mean, she's all right looking. She's kind of cute, but she's built like a 12-year-old, and they want her to play in a revamp or, a reboot of Lara Croft. I mean, it was bad enough when they got that other actress to play Lara Croft because she was kind of like not well endowed. Like, if you ever played the games, I only played it when it first came out, very little bit of it. The games of Lara Croft had like an exaggerated body, and she had extremely big breasts. I mean, like unusually big breasts. Now, they had the one actress who did not have very big breasts, and now they're going to get one who's actually wearing a training bra practically. They want her to play, because she's played in Star Wars and that was so popular, to play Lara Croft, and it's nothing against her, but she doesn't have the body to play the part. I mean, this is a fictional character, but is this because you have to be politically correct or something? You could have picked somebody a lot better. God, you could get, what do you call it, from, I can't remember her name, the chick that plays in, and she's flat-chested too, though, but the chick who played in the Resident Evil movies, because she has no breast either. But I mean, you're getting a character. It's like, I mean, I know it's just a video game, but it's like getting somebody who I'm trying to think like Dolly Parton and getting a 12-year-old to play her part, or a woman who has the body of a 12-year-old to play the part of Dolly Parton in the movie. I mean, it would make no sense. You're going to get a flat-chested, barely an A-cup woman to play the part of Dolly Parton. I mean, that's what you're talking about when you're saying getting somebody to getting this woman, because she's 23, believe it or not, Daisy Ridley, to play this part. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway, it says Daisy Ridley is one. Okay, well, it says Daisy Ridley is one of many actresses said to be tested for the video game icon Lara Croft and Warner Brothers Tomb Raider reboot. I mean, dude, she's really cool, but if she gets that part, that's going to be like, it's going to go right to video. I'm sorry. So I don't know what people are thinking. And the only reason she would possibly get the part, I mean, no offense to her, she's great, is because she's got this, this back-end from doing Star Wars that did was so successful in the latest Star Wars movie of the list of movies they did. So I don't know. Hey, by the way, I had this from yesterday, too, right after I got off. This guy, it says Crazy Works and Ideas video. There's this video, the guy turned his motorboat into a car. Like, he actually put some hydraulics, and he put two wheels in the back of the boat and one on the front of the boat, and he's driving his boat, like motorboat, and he's going to get gas. He's driving his motorboat as though, like, as a car. His motorboat. He made it into a car he drives on the streets. I don't know how safe that is. I think it's kind of funny. So I don't know why you would want to do that. I think it'd be kind of dangerous too, and probably piss off a lot of people because it probably does not drive that fast. So it's funny looking. And by the way, there was a story I had from PIX11 from yesterday. A taxi jumped the curb and crashed into a medical building, hurting multiple people. Taxi crashes into New York. It says NYU Lungan building in Midtown. Is that Langon building? Midtown East Manhattan. 3 people were injured after the taxi crashed into NYU. I'm not going to mention that word again or where it is, but building on 33rd Street. It was at 8:51 a.m. 3 people were taken into NYU. So it wasn't too far. The guy crashed into the building, so the people got injured. They were already at a hospital anyway. Treated for minor injuries according to the EMS. What I had to do was walk to get the people that were injured in this car accident because it was right in front of it was at the hospital. Not in front of it. It was at the hospital. What am I talking about? So, did I read this yesterday? I'm not sure, so I apologize if I did, but police say a knife-wielding man was arrested for attacking 2 people while walking in Prospect Park in 2 separate incidents on Wednesday night. Man arrested for stabbing 2 people, robbing them in Prospect Park in NYPD. So this was in New York also, from PIX11. Oh, this was, I don't know. I can't help. I find humor in the wrong places. But my dad was telling me about this. I actually found the story. It was on PIX11 as well. It says a protester was being escorted from the Donald Trump rally and Fayetteville, North Carolina, when an elderly man punched him right in the face. The man was like 76 years old, too, so I get the guy more power for doing that, the guy who punched the other guy out. See it, elderly man caught on video punching Trump protester charged with assault. Now, the guy that he punched, he was 78. John McGraw was 78. This guy punched a younger guy in the face, and now he's a 78-year-old man is being held up on charges. An elderly man, because he got tired of listening to all these people these protesters just making a mockery out of Trump. They said the man's bail was set at $2,500. Not exactly a sweet spot, but it's not too bad. The man's like, he's got one foot in the grave. I'm sorry. I mean, why are you going to give this guy a hard time? No offense. And yeah, it's just ridiculous because these protesters, they get away with this shit with the Republicans, especially with Trump. But if this shoe was another foot, this would not be tolerated at all. That's a fact. And the guy's 78 years old. Come on, folks. By the way, I can't wait. It says, look, hell is waiting for Daredevil in the new motion poster. So Daredevil is just around the corner from happening, by the way. So I can't wait. Now, there was a couple other stories I probably could read. I'm probably just going to let them go because I've tortured everybody enough tonight. I probably already read them anyway, so that's another reason to, say enough tonight. So, everyone, it is Friday night. Hopefully, everybody's having a good one. I will promise you one thing. I will try to do one more run, but I'm going to call it like a quits for tonight because now tomorrow my friend Matt and I, we're going to go to New Order, this band called New Order. So we're going to see them. Now, I don't know if he hears this podcast, he's going to say, Walter, guess who's going to be driving? If you're having these bowel problems, it's not going to be me, meaning him. It's going to be me, meaning me. If that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. It sounds pretty funny, though. But seriously, there's a picture, by the way, just caught my attention. This girl is pregnant. 7 years bad luck if you don't like this picture. The girl is pregnant, but she had both breasts removed. She had breast cancer, but she's still pregnant. So, yeah, she has nothing there. But, I mean, I don't mean to sound like a dick, but she literally had her breast completely removed. I mean, more power to her, but she's pregnant. So, I mean, I'm glad they got rid of the cancer. I feel bad for women that have that issue, but they said you have to like it or you'd be like pretty much, who would not like a picture like that? You'd feel horrible for not liking it. This was on Facebook. Alrighty, this is really dumb, but I'm gonna laugh about it and mention it. It was from Pandora's Box. She's one of the drag queens I've seen before. She does put up really funny pictures. She put up one, what rhymes with Friday, and she put, it's a picture of a Barbie doll, and it says alcohol. So I don't drink, so I can't really, I'm being a hypocrite when it comes to that, by the way. But I just couldn't help it either, so I had to post it. I'm trying to put other stories now between me and that story, because, again, I don't drink, so why would I find... Now, my one friend on Facebook, Matt, not Matt Torrance, but this other Matt that I'm friends with, that I used to work with, he finds that stuff funny. It's like, dude, it actually really isn't funny, but he finds everything I put up funny, so I appreciate that, too. Ooh. Hey, folks, I found another story that... You know what? This is what I mean. I find stories that are interesting way after I'm ready, like what I'm ready to... Well, either when I'm off there or like somewhere between there, when I'm getting ready to shut down. So here's one of those. This was on the Daily Mail. This was just posted. Punk rocker named Pussy, well, which would be accurate, is declared insane for defecating, cutting off his Russian girlfriend's head and having sex with her head while wearing one of her dresses. And I'm not making that up. I'm telling you, this is the truth. This guy, 23 years old, defecated. Oh, why am I saying defecated? That's meaning that he shit on her head. No, he cut it off. So he decapitated his girlfriend's head, 22-year-old. Sorry about that, folks. 22-year-old. So let me read that since I know that I definitely mentioned that completely wrong. And it probably sounds more funny that way, but it's not funny. Punk rocker named Pussy again, which he is declared insane for decapitating his Russian girlfriend and having sex with her head while wearing her dresses. Not even just one, but while wearing her dresses. So this guy, 23 years old, decapitated his girlfriend's head, 22-year-old, and had sex with her head. He murdered Victoria in the city of Vachrins or whatever. Blah. Well, I can't even mention her name. He said to it says, I'm trying to get this out. He is said to have liked dressing in women's clothing and masturbating. So instead of being prosecuted for her murder, he was declared insane. So that's an interesting one because this is a white male, and they decided, like, I mean, come on, this is something that is really serious. The man decapitates his girlfriend's head, and this is the first time I've ever heard of a white male getting this. And they actually show a picture of him dressed up in her dresses, and it probably even looks like pantyhose, unless that's hair on his legs. But he basically decapitated her head and then masturbated with it while wearing her dress. And yet he's gonna get away with it because he'll be put, if he's charged criminally insane, he'll be put in the mental institution. That means unless they have special prisons, I don't know, for the criminally insane, because that's what it would be. I hope they do. Because I don't, obviously it didn't happen around here, but I don't want this guy anywhere near our country. I just find it, either way, I find it extremely amusing. So, but there you go again. You got these goofy stories with these wackos. But you know what? I don't even want to use that word because, like, I say this guy's a wacko, they're going to say, "See what I mean? Yeah, he's criminally insane." Well, excuse me, he's definitely got something wrong with him, but doesn't give him the right to get away with it. I mean, that's ridiculous. Sorry, I did take a swallow of water. I've been drinking this stuff called Penta water, but that stuff's really expensive. It ends up being like $1.50 a bottle. But if you buy a case of 24, you're talking like $34 either way. I mean, that's what I paid for it. I'm just telling you, I did pay that much. So, yeah, I mean, but I've been doing it because I've been trying to do something healthy. Even eating. It was funny today, by the way, folks. It's Fish Friday, so you can't eat meat. And I asked my parents, I said, "Oh, yeah, maybe you can get me something my mother owed me some money. I said, maybe you can pick me up something to eat. And I said, maybe you can get me the meal deal from McDonald's, which would include French fries, which here she ended up not getting me fries. She got me a sandwich and soda, which was fine, actually. It's probably better I don't eat all that garbage. But, because for some reason, that's another thing. If I eat too much deep fried stuff, I automatically get acid reflux. It's like clockwork. Even too much sugar gives me acid reflux, it seems like. I can't win. So, alrighty, you know what? Honestly, I said this before. I'm going to say it again. I think I'm done my show for tonight, so I hope everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. I promise I'm not going to look for any more stories. I'm going to shut down right now on my story, searching for stories, because every time that I say, I'm going to shut this down and I'm not going to look for any more stories, and I do, guess what happens? I find another story. So, hey, everyone, have a good evening. It's almost 8:30 anyway, so you're not going to have to hear me. You're not going to hear me burden you as much as I have been, because I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to be at work until 1 a.m. every night soon. I'll be going to work at 4 o'clock, means I'll leave the house around 3, be home by after 1 o'clock, dealing with the idiots on the road at 1 in the morning coming out of these bars, even though the bars close at 2. So I'll be back on that pace again, unfortunately. 6 months of freedom, though. It was nice. So everyone, have a good weekend, I should say, at this point, because I won't probably be on, obviously, tomorrow and maybe Sunday. I don't know. So everyone, thanks again if you're listening to me. My name's Walter. You are listening to the iWalter Show. thanks again. And again, I think I did check that one show that I did was 103 people listened to it, the one on Milo. So thank you for that, too. Have a good evening, everyone. This is Walter again, signing off for now.